to the stream. Now, currently, I'm kind of sat out in the middle of nowhere. As you can see, get up above the galactic plane, and we are heading back to the bubble. So I thought I'd give it a go tonight. I wanted to do something a bit different tonight, but I've decided that I won't do that. I'll do a couple of... I'll get back on it and try and get back to the bubble while I can. So, just gonna apply these to the route. They work. And we're gonna make our way back up. So, let's rearrange this a bit because I've changed my position just slightly, and so I don't know exactly where I'm gonna be. My head's gonna kind of be in the picture or anything. Okay, so just checking my encoder. It's saying my head's not working today. It's been a couple of days since I've streamed, so I don't know. It's saying I'm not streaming properly, but I'm sure I am. I'm just gonna knock all my settings down. Can actually get going now. So I'm gonna head back towards in a little bit. And let's get this show on the road. And hopefully on the way back, coming from this low down, I'm going to try and do this kind of step thing. I'm never going to quite arrive to the, should we say, the path well trodden. I'm going to try not to get too close to that and to kind of keep away from it. That's a pretty looking lava planet there, not too crusty. Oh, hang on a moment. Everybody's messages just dropped in at once. What happened there? Okay, yeah, Dave, unfortunately that's the way it goes sometimes. They've pushed it back yet again. Of course, Kathina, but the good news is I am on my way back to the bubble, so that is the good news. And good evening, Deckard. What, good to see you again. And good to see you, Dave. And of course, good to see you too, Kathina. But it's a nice view from out here in the arse end, to be honest. It's been good. I've always wanted to come to this point, so I'm not disappointed that I've done the extra few jumps to get here. I did want to kind of do something else in tonight's stream, but it can wait till tomorrow night. It's not like... I wanted to do the retro tonight. I wanted to do the retro stream tonight, but I couldn't really get it set up and get a game that I wanted to do. In time. Okay, so this is just a sun system, so we can jump straight on. Probably do it from under the sun, I think, if I'm lucky enough. Might get a few disco lights, but I don't think it's going to be the end of it. I think I can get back to the bubble for probably for maybe, I don't know, a couple of nights. It'll probably take a few hours here and there. I was actually weirdly wanting to play Grand Theft Auto tonight, but not the police version, actually just the regular game. I don't know why. No idea. I just really fancied it for some reason. Just gonna make sure that's not one of those bugger-lug ones. No. Okay, so what's everybody else doing in game tonight? Anything interesting? Don't know, what do you think about the patch notes been pushed back, Dave? Does it really matter? Because it was all going to be coming in Q4 anyway. I'm not, Kathina. I think if you actually play it in the right way, I think it's in some ways it's slightly similar to Elite in the fact that you never really know what you're doing if you just try and play it. It's not as bad as you think for gankers and stuff like that. It really isn't. I played for what, 45 minutes today. Didn't have anybody try to kill me. So I suppose that's good. That's kind of changed. I think people haven't got time for it. I think that's the thing. They're trying to make money so that they can do the bits and bobs. I was reading something in a forum and somebody said it was a grind fest, which made me laugh out loud. But and I played a new mission, and well, not a new mission, but a new mission for me, and it was actually pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It wasn't too difficult. Well, it seemed alright. I mean, I love that policeman one, but they really need to kind of get the menus down on it and get some of the actions corrected a little bit. As far as I'm aware, nobody's done any updates on it because Rockstar made some kind of legal threats, unfortunately. Even though you can actually play the normal online version with Rage Hook enabled. Rage Hook is something which lets you put in all the extra little bits, but you can't do it with that enabled. You can't do the regular online. You can only play in a solo mode or in a friends group. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my average comment when it comes to Frontier is bada bing, bada boom. When it comes, it comes, as far as I'm concerned. I don't want to be pissy about it. I honestly don't, but I don't have any expectations. So I'd rather them just take the time and release it whenever they release it. I'll come back whenever they do the upgrade, whenever they bring out a new thing. If I step away from the game for a while, I'll come back. There'll always be enough to keep me going in game. Hey, Kathina, I happen to like mining, and I'm surprised you don't, because you're a bit of a loot whore. And on top of that, it doesn't matter. They deserve it just as much as All you people who like killing everything that moves. The Discovery people. Kathina doesn't like Discovery either, Dave. Unless it's bleeding, she's not interested. No, I think, you know, everybody deserves their part of the game to be updated, and you know, I'm looking forward to any exploration updates they're gonna bring. I truly am. I'm just not in any rush to see it. I kind of feel when it comes to kind of updates and stuff like that, I'm more patient than I used to be. I'll just wait for it to come out, and if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, we can all laugh at them. I get to play the picture of Sandy grinning a lot more often. Be a bit high and mighty. Hey, at least we're not paying 27 grand to get all the ships. And, to be honest with you, with E3 around the corner, who cares about Elite? And that comes from somebody who streams it. E3 is always my favourite time of the year. Hoping, dreaming. Having those dreams destroyed. No, Ubisoft have behaved themselves over recent years. I think all their games have been pretty good. Wildlands is a bit of a strange one because you can really enjoy it when you play it, and then you can go off it 5 minutes later and you don't touch it for another month. But then you pick it up in a month and you go, oh, why did I put this down? Kind of The Division I can play any day of the week and any hour of the day. Assassin's Creed, I like it, but it's not my type of game, so whether I'll ever stick it out, I don't know. It's strange to say that I like it, but it's not my type of game, and that it cannot, no matter what that game does, it can't keep me hooked. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with it. And yeah, as Deckard says, you can't play notes. Can't play notes. I'm waiting for the Red Dead Redemption 2. That's what I'm waiting for. And just so you know, Kathina, I wasn't playing dick mode in in Detroit Become Human the other day. There's a lot of different paths you can follow, and they've all been scripted into it. It just so happened that the first time I played through it, you liked the movie that I sculpted. And like reading the book before going to see the movie, you never like what you see. Yeah, that would be nice as well, Dave. Well, no, there's a ton of stuff you can do with exploration, Kathina. I mean, you're talking about that, but I'm talking, I've said it before and I've said it again. Some type of system that puts things on the surface, not a crash ship here and there. I'm talking about interesting things to scan, to look at, to take samples and sell them back in the bubble. You know, that doesn't have to be hand placed. It can have an algorithm to it. I think there's a lot more, a hell of a lot more you can do with Discovery. Maybe they need a 2.0 engine or something. I don't know. I don't know what they have to do. The new Jurassic Park game should be great as well. And of course, the Division 2 should be getting some gameplay at E3 apparently. Oh, we got a nice system. Okay, and it's completely unplotted, which is nice. So let's see, what are we on? We are on a G star, I think. Yep. Anywhere up to 872. Oof. Unfortunately, that little baby is... I reckon it's a high metal content anyway, which it is. So it was masquerading as a water world anyway, so... We'll go do this one. Well, whatever it does. I mean, I won't buy something for PS4 if I know it's coming out on PC. Apart from maybe Red Dead Redemption. I'm not a big fan of that. This new let's sell them something twice, because it's the PC players who get the brunt of it, especially the ones who double it like me. So, if a game is PlayStation exclusive, I'll buy it, but if it's PlayStation and going to be released for PC later, I'll just leave it. I'm not going to be sucked into all that stuff anymore. It's horrible. I mean, funnily enough, Rockstar are one of the worst for it. There's no, Dave, there's no argument. There's absolutely no argument. The Division alone, if you've seen me playing it, is 10 times better on PC. 10 times. And there's no driver issues. It worked out the box. There's just no, oh, it's not terraformable. There's just no comparison. Anyway, even with a crappy graphics card, you're always gonna beat the PlayStation 4. Literally, when I played the Division first time on the PC, my jaw hit the floor. I couldn't believe how much better it looked. No good graphics. But then, you see, I don't think it's on its last legs, Kathina, because they did a really, I mean, you look at Detroit Almost Human, that really pushed its limits. And actually, I didn't hear the fan going too crazy. It would go crazy at certain points, but it never went super crazy. I never noticed any dropped frames, which in quite a lot of other games I have. I don't know, Dave. I don't know if that's true anymore. I think that's what a lot of them keep telling themselves, because I'm going to tell you something, Dave, actually, which is absolutely true. There is a hell of a lot more mean people on the consoles. So any console game, when you go into PvP, it's horrible. You don't find that as much on the PC. It still exists, but it's not as bad. It's definitely not as bad. We're going to try this one. Because it's a double, I'm going to have to try it. And it's pretty close by. Yeah, but when they say that, the PS5's a fair way off, Kathina. Well, it's probably a year off minimum, and then unless they plan on getting it out for Christmas, but I highly doubt that. I don't totally doubt it, but even if they had it out for Christmas, I'd never be a day one purchaser. There's just not enough software out there. There's not enough games out there. And many more people now are going towards PC, because in the time I've had my PC, I've updated the graphics card twice at 150 quid a pop, The original PC cost me 700, and so what? That's about £1,000. And I've had a PS4 and a PS3 in that time. PS4 and a PS3 in that time. New. You could be close, Kathina. I don't think that's the exact, but I think there's a hell of a lot more just angriness. Oh, I remember going into the dark zone in the Division with some friends when we really didn't know what we were doing. Now on the PC version, if somebody truly sees you struggle and they down you too easily, they'll actually add you to their group and try and help you a little bit. All we just had was these kids screaming at us constantly, and these blokes shouting at us in Russian. No, I'm not saying you do, Dave. I'm just saying that just the community in general, there's much more of it on there. Even if you go into Grand Theft Auto Online on the PC, I was just saying earlier, now I was playing nearly an hour. Nobody bothered me. Everybody's doing their thing. You go on the PlayStation, and unfortunately, I know it sounds like, how can I put it? It sounds like a cliche when I say it, but the consoles are pretty much, there's quite a few adults on there, but there's a lot of children because the console's cheap compared to a PC. Whereas on the PC you get a lot more adults. You still get kids, but a lot more adults who take it much more seriously. Hey Tigster, how's it going? Shut up, Kathina. I did actually have a couple of good friends on the PS4 though. Tried to get them to switch to PC, but neither of them were having it, so unfortunately I had to leave them behind because I'm also not paying... I'm not paying what? For 24 months of PS Plus? £5 a month? 60 a year, so that's another 120. Not paying 120 quid to play online, thank you very much. I can tell her whatever I want, Tigster. It's my stream. Until you were gifted a decent PC. Which department doesn't have an MRI scanner now? Tigster's on the pull today, isn't he? Let's have a look. That could be smoky ammonia. Oh, damn it, it's not.
Warning, temperature critical.
Yeah, but PSP Plus games now are pretty shitty. I'm gonna be honest. Welcome in, Bob. We've been expecting you. Honestly, I've only on PS Plus. I think I've downloaded a game once. It is possible, Deckard. You can do it. You just have to do it really fast before they go to the rebuy screen. But you can dip your DBX or whatever, Anaconda. Did you ever play it though? I think you'd like that. That's quite freaky, Beyond Two Souls, and it's got some pretty good bits in it.
Frameshift drive charging.
I know, Tixter, I've been listening. I might not always be speaking, but I'm generally listening. Or reading. That's good. It's a shame you can't give me all the stuff you've been collecting, because I hate engineering, but I'm going to do it when I get back. I'm going to try and get this DBX in the right path, or on the right path, should I say. I mean, I'm happy with it now, but I could be slightly happier. It probably was, Dave. I love that bit in the underground laboratory. That was pretty freaky enough of its own. When I see it, I always think of Bob.
Frameshift drive charging.
You didn't like the Detroit Become Human game then, Bob? Oh no, you saw the same part twice, didn't you? That's probably made it a bit crapper. Sorry about that. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to finish the wait to finish the second playthrough now. I do need to have a look into my OBS and streaming package though at the moment, because I want to try and get my latency down. It's really strange. YouTube says it's receiving an average amount of information, yet OBS is outputting at more than enough. So I'm really unsure of where I'm losing anything. Really need to get on to somebody who is really good high-level streamer, because I can't see, I haven't got anything set wrong that I'm aware of, and I know that YouTube can misreport sometimes. But what the hell is that? Oh, that's a high metal content. That's not a big water one, is it? No. I'm not being a dick, it's a different route, Kathina. I must admit, for example, the second playthrough, I think, with Connor, I was doing some stupid decisions. I should have just played the way he would play, and I wanted to make it. I wanted to make all the androids like pretty stone cold, and not kind of have any empathy, and have the total opposite to the other one. So Marcus would be more easily led, be a bit of a dick. Connor would just want to solve the case regardless, which I kind of did with the first one, but and then with Kara kind of make it more where she doesn't understand. I don't know how to put this without sounding really horrible, but I don't mean to sound horrible. But I wanted to put her through like a situation of not understanding why the baby's turning blue, if you get what I mean. I know that sounds horrible, but that's what I'm trying to kind of discover with it. But I'm still trying to give it a story or a background to why it is the way it is. But I have to admit, I was kind of trying to do all the wrong decisions with Connor, rather than making the wrong decisions when I think he would make the wrong decisions. Like doing the investigation, he should have a 10 out of 10, because that's kind of what he's built for. And I kind of dicked it up, which was a bit silly, really. Hello, Philibol. How are you doing? And I think I genuinely missed quite a few things on the first playthrough as well. There's one thing I do know, which is every action you make, you can actually look at the branch and it will tell you where you are in the story, which is quite interesting. So if you've missed something, you can kind of go back and get it, if it's within the branch you're currently in, of course. Oof. Is this an F1? Yeah. Well, to be fair, you said you wouldn't have been a pacifist with Marcus. So you wouldn't always be goody-goody, I don't think. I mean, you can't in Elite. Okie dokie, there we go. There's something or nothing.
Fuel scooping complete.
See, I think it's unexplored, but I think it's unexplored. Let's have a look. Yes, it's unexplored. It should be out in this bloody direction. That's high metal content. I think those are 2 high metal contents. I'll have to see. Oh, you only kill wanted ships. Wanted by who? It's 3 factions. And some of them might be evil. That must be a big water world, scanning from 200 light seconds out. It's always good. Anybody used to play Dark Souls? I've never played it, but they're making a remastered version for the PC. Just wondered if anybody had actually played it. Oh, crapping that stick. Nothing's ever terraformable. I mean, I'm gonna get my name on it, but pretty much it. Jeez Louise. Yeah, she's stone cold, Bob. Stone cold. Like an ex-wife. Or an ex-milkman. It's not really my type of game, but I don't know, it's one of those games where so many people talk about it, you're like, do you know what, I'm gonna have to give in at some point. Okay, these are terraformable. So, I'm hoping these are too. I think this year is actually going to be quite difficult monetarily for games. I think there's going to be a slew of games this year because if there is a PS5, then there's probably a new Xbox on the horizon, and all the companies now are going to try and get a copy of the game out before the new console, so that they can release on the new console as well. As Grand Theft Auto showed, PS3, PS4 and then PC, you can get people to buy the game 3 times over. So that's the new big thing now. Damn it. Well, we got a couple of good ones out of it. We'll jump on. I do have a low tolerance, and it depends the game actually. I remember in Last of Us I died a few times. Which I still didn't finish the stream for Left Behind actually. I need to get on that one day. It's about a lot of death, Bob. No, it's like a medieval, but with supernatural stuff, I think. It's just one of those games, it's a bit like Red Dead Redemption. I'd never really kind of wanted to try it, and then, or dare I say it, Cathena will probably have a heart attack, but Skyrim. Never played Skyrim. Is that... Can't bloody see because that's one of those water giants. But did I find out they were worth about 2p? Did you ever play LA Noire, Bob? I think you might like that one. Love me some LA Noire. I'd love a remastered version of that. Can't remember half of it now. It's been so long since I played it. Although I'm sure with virtual reality, Skyrim's probably amazing. I don't doubt it. I'd love to play Grand Theft Auto 5 in virtual reality if it was possible, actually. There is a first-person view, but I don't think it works with the virtual reality. But my god, that world's pretty well fleshed out. There's enough to look at. I think that's going to be high metal content. Ice? That close? Till I haven't played for a couple of days, my fingers won't work properly. Ah, well, Bob, it's like an old-style detective game, but mixed with a little bit of kind of like, I mean, I don't want to put it in there because it's not the same game, but like a little bit, I don't know, a little bit of action, but also like an old-style detective thing. But it's actually got a really, really good story, tons of stuff to find, you know, work things out. Hey Zoomski, how's it going? Hey Soundo, how's it going? I don't know, I just think it might be up your street, Bob. Good lord, I'm gonna have to whack these Fs off it, I think, because they give nothing but gas giants. Oh, to G. Thanks for proving me wrong. Cheers, FDev. Thanks, Obama. So yeah, would you pay, for example, we talk about the grind and everything like that. Would you? It's just a question. Would you pay 13 grand for every skin and every ship in the game? Would you do it? Have all the engineers unlocked? Maybe triple drop rates? Triple drop rates? I would. Pay 13 grand up front. Oh geez, that's a weird system. Now every once in a while I'm going to intermittently reroute this because I never truly want to hit the destination. I know, not pay to win, Zoomski, pay to have. The problem with pay to win platforms, in my opinion, is if you're not prepared to pay to win, you shouldn't be playing it, or there's no point in playing it, because you're never going to be able to get there. I mean, they specifically put that, like, impossible grind in. Okay. Put this new one in. Cheers, Victor. Not completely useless. Well, you know, I don't really want to go in there. This is the precedent that they are setting at Star Citizen. I know they're not. They're not even. The fact that I didn't realise till earlier when this, you have to be like a concierge customer or something. Like, they are seriously trying to rip people off. I don't think they have any other intention. No, real money, Zoomski. Real money. I'm gonna tick off the G types and just go with Fs for the moment, I think.
Frameshift drive charging.
No, come on, if you did it with in-game credits, they'd have to nerf the whole game down. I mean, literally. Believe me, they do it in The Division. You can get cosmetics for free, but they say it's a random drop rate. It's absolutely not random, because it'll drop your first 8 to 9 like that, and then you're on like a 2-hour haul looking for the next one. Something's gonna happen with that game, though. I don't mean it's gonna get made. I mean that there's gonna be a precedent set in gaming with that. What I mean is that I think that it's going to set it's gonna set crowd-funded games back at some point. People are going to say, you know what, I'm not going to go through with crowdfunding anymore. I mean, why anybody is considering spending 27k, I'll never know. I really don't. And I don't understand. The biggest thing I don't understand about this whole thing, and I would honestly love to find something to read that explains it, is where the fuck have they pulled these prices from? Now, I know that, for example, in Second Life, which is a free-to-play PC game, like, it's kind of, don't know, it's set in like a Sims world type thing. I know that clothes, houses, and things like that in the game have sold for very large amounts of money, but this is a game with a huge player base, and the game has value. Star Citizen has nothing. It has literally nothing. So this thing of saying people are stupid enough to pay for it, are people stupid enough to pay for it, or are people seriously believing that, oh well, if I just pump this extra bit of money it's gonna come? And you know, why is nobody in the industry calling Chris Roberts out for it? Why is there nobody else in the industry saying, hey, this guy's doing something they shouldn't be doing? I mean, why is there game designers from in the company not speaking out, saying, you know, we're not getting anywhere with it? Or is it like some cult?
Fuel scooping complete.
I mean, the fact that they've now said, well, you can't get money returned or anything on it anymore because we consider that we have a working product out there, it's... Yeah, I do know that, Zoomski. I know that if you make something in game or you design something for the game, you can sell it and it goes to the person who does that, yeah. I don't play it myself, but I know about it. Yeah, but that's what Scientology does, Kathina. No, I wouldn't, Bob. I don't know if anybody's seen a documentary about Herbalife recently. There's a documentary came out about Herbalife, and there's basically tons of poor Mexican people and South American people all across America with living rooms and bedrooms stocked to the rafters with Herbalife products because it's a pyramid scheme, and they're worried that if they drop out of the pyramid that they're going to lose all their money. And it's an absolutely distressing documentary to watch. Yet Herbalife are considered a really, really reputable company, and they're doing record profits every year. But the reason they're doing record profits is essentially their salespeople are buying the product. Now, what I mean with what I'm trying to get at with Star Citizen is that you don't have that thing where you have to keep buying, but obviously that thing of, oh crap, I don't want to have lost my money, I'm guessing a pretty strong, gives you a pretty strong emotional tie to it. But I'm going to be honest, what other game do you know that sets that type of precedence? I don't know any other games where you pay 100 quid for essentially a skin. I know it's a ship, I know it handles differently and everything like that, but it's essentially a skin. And I just can't think of another game where you pay that type of money. They do zoom scale. I'm not knocking Second Life. I'm using it as a yardstick example of a game where money is made and passed around, and it. But in that game, it has value and it has worth. Apparently, I mean, I don't know how something electronic can have that much value. Although Bitcoin and stuff's out there, so. I mean, I'm going to be honest, when I first saw him doing one of his Sunday streams with his girlfriend, paid for by Patreons, I think they use Patreon to make those videos, I can't remember. Or they have specific backers. I didn't like him. There was just something immediately that said this guy's not necessarily on the level. And then when I actually went to the website, because I was impressed by what I'd seen in the videos, but then when I went to the website and I saw the first price for a ship, I was like, hang on a minute, I don't get this at all. Now they say it's to bypass the in-game currency, but still doesn't quite make sense to me. But like we say you're saying he's pioneering it, but what's he pioneering? Like, I know Elite doesn't graphically look as good as Star Citizen, but if somebody seriously wants... There's people who have paid and bought Star Citizen who don't really know about Elite. And that was another thing I was quite surprised by. I'll have to turn the music down a little bit there. You know, when it worries me that when people like the director of EA and the director of Rockstar Games, and they've probably been saying it at Ubisoft as well, are saying that, hey, these people, because that's literally what they say, these people have much more money to give us rather than our competition, so we need to create games to rope them in. And that's, I don't agree with it, but at least they give me a product. And okay, they're now saying, well, games should maybe be 100 quid, $100, €100, because the costs of games making are going up. Which I don't agree with. I think 69 quid per game is pretty good, and when I see that Rockstar are breaking records, I definitely don't think I should be paying more. If anything, I should be paying a bit less. Oh, well, maybe it is. Maybe I just see through it all, but I don't think I'm that... I mean, I quite like psychology, but I don't think I'm that easily... how can I say it? How I can see it through that easily. Because I don't think it... I don't know. I think, like... if he had a beta that worked, and you had this tiny little portion of the galaxy where you could do pretty much what's going to be available in the galaxy, but you can do it in this tiny little area, then I could understand people paying money for it. I could totally understand people paying money for it. But one of the other things that I noticed, which I've mentioned before, is that the more I watch the videos, the more I notice that he's building new things for the game when he hasn't even finished part of the game. And that's when I first started saying, well, this is just to ride the money. Like, he will ride it till the money's out. He's on the payroll with a very large amount of money. His girlfriend's on the payroll, probably as the second director, so they're probably pulling in a double director's rate. And then they're gonna run it into the ground. But this is what I'm getting at about the industry. Surely other people in the industry are saying, hang on, especially indie games makers. And there's whole like Reddits about him. So is it like a religious thing? Are people literally religiously fanatic about it? Well, we're not having a very good one today. I haven't hit one terraformable yet. Yeah, but it has to be successful to associate with it. That's the thing. Zoomski, if somebody said to me, hey, I'm making really good whiskey, right? Do you want to get in at entry level? I'd be like, yeah, give me a taste. That would be my expectation, my minimum expectation. It's funny you should say that, Kathina, because that's interesting for the simple fact is that the first Grand Theft Auto certainly didn't pull in that money that he's pulled in. But they've pulled in more money than some AAA games have, as in development money. And GTA didn't take 10 years to develop, it took 6, I think. I think it was 6. But of course, that had every facet of, pretty much every facet in one way or another of Rockstar behind it. Because although one Rockstar studio always gets kind of the credit for the game, but I know most of them are involved with it. I know with the new Division game, almost every branch of Ubisoft are involved with it, as well as some other groups. Could be, Bob. Could be. Very strange. I just always wonder if there's something I've actually missed out on that. Is it because he's produced or he's been involved with really good games before? And so that's why people trust him? Maybe it's because of that. Because he's been involved with some really good games. But didn't his other game kind of get rescued as well? And this is where I just don't get it. But it's not because we're trashing it. If anybody came across this, I would expect them to... I would seriously expect them to back up a little bit. Like I say, I want to know why nobody in the industry is speaking out against it. I haven't heard any industry people kind of saying this is wrong and he's treating his customer... well, they're not even customers because they haven't got a product, but he's treating his customers wrong. You know, to pay 250 quid or whatever for a ship to look at in menu because it doesn't fly properly is not a product. Very strange. It's very, very strange. I knew that'd be a high metal content, even though it looks... I was trying to see if there was a difference. There's the slightest of differences. Okay, so that should be a high metal content, but it'll probably be a water world. No, it's not. It's high metal content. No, we wouldn't. But like I said, there's whole Reddits, subreddits about it. Like, but you know, people are goofy. I don't know how even the most kind of hopeful person can be sat at home tonight looking at a 300 quid blueprint and saying, yes, that was a good investment. I just don't. And it's not even a blueprint of something special to them. Well, I do, Bob, because I think that it could affect kickstarted games in the future. If you've got this game where people have been swindled out of so much money, people are going to look at Kickstarter and say, you know what, I'm just going to stay away from it. And that's really sad. And I think one of the reasons the industry insiders don't want to speak out about it is because then there might kind of be some pressure on people from the industry to save it. And I think they're all probably saying, I'd rather stay clear of that one, mate. Don't want to get involved in that. Or maybe they're waiting for it to go tits up so they can buy it. Reset everybody's accounts because it'll be a completely different company, and then they can resell it all over again. Probably EA sounds like a good fit for that. Well, yeah, no, there isn't. There are certain things there to buy and at least poke around in and have a look at. I'm sure what they have made is kind of slightly interesting too. I just wonder why there's no kind of oh, we've got a good system here. I just wonder why there's no leaks from inside. I mean, you don't want to be, if you're working for him, you don't want to be, you wouldn't want to be going to your next job being associated with that company that had embezzled millions of pounds out of people and sat back knowing it was going to fail, because everybody who's working within the company will have an idea of whether it's going to go tits up or not. I would hope. Oh, and by the way, I can't show this in the stream at the same time because it'll mess up the stream. All right, Phil, catch you later on. If you get a chance, watch this video. I can't watch these videos anymore because I actually understand pretty much what the guy's saying and I know what he's talking about. But because he's Spanish, they've put people put subtitles over the top about different things, and it's supposed to be Chris Roberts doing an interview on TV about Star Citizen. It'll have you in absolute stitches. It's really, really funny. You can even take 4 minutes and watch it now if you want. I don't mind. But I saw one about something else before and it had me in stitches. Zoomski, yeah, they probably don't have much money in the accounts because he'll be embezzling it. I'm telling you, he'll be shifting it out as fast as he gets it. Smog mode activated. Just if you're interested, Kathina, the guy's actually telling a story about when he worked as a waiter, and he took some, I think his boss had told him to wash the dishes at the end of the night, and he said he couldn't be arsed, so his boss said, oh well, why don't you just stick the paella dishes in the sea, but you've got to tie them to a rope, and and the seawater will wash them. So he's kind of telling this story about how he went out and put these dishes out and went back from the next morning. It takes it because it was a really nice view, and it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. I'm actually below it, but tomato, you know. Oh no, I haven't seen the Hitler one. I'll look for it, Kathina. I love those videos, but that one specifically really makes me laugh because you can put it in so many situations where somebody's taking advantage of somebody, and it's just hilarious. Okay, finally, a terraformable water world. It is an ammonia one, unfortunately. I know, this is interesting. I was talking about this before. I was asking if these can be terraformable. Somebody said they could be, but I've never seen one. Hang on, it hasn't selected it, has it? Where is it? So this could be the first one I've ever seen, plus it could be, oh Christ. Terraformable, plus it could be my first one. Let's see if it's actually terraformable. It is. Wow, that's my first one, and it's mine. Well, that's cheered me up a bit. I'll go grab... No, that one's a bit too far, actually. Yeah, somebody said it a few times, Bob, but I've never, ever, touch wood, never come across one. And I've certainly never had one like going around the water world like that one. Yeah, it's only taken nearly a year, Bob. It's not bad going.
Fuel scope disengaged. French drive charging.
I wonder if the other thing with Star Citizen is if, like, Chris Roberts is one of those... can't remember which game it was. There was a game that... oh, Christ on a stick, I don't know what game it was. There was a game that never quite made it to market, even though it had like $60 million invested in it in total across 3 different publishers. And I think it was This Is Vegas, it was called. I think it was originally going to be for the PlayStation 3. And the reason it never got out is because the director of it would like have one direction for the game, and then he'd be playing something else or watching something else, and he'd literally go to the people, "Oh, I want that in the game," and they'd be like, "Well, it won't fit with the engine," and he'd be like, "Well, make it fit with the engine." And eventually the game just went into this development hell because every time he came up with just this new idea that he suddenly wanted, it would set them back like 6 to 8 months. And that's why that game never got made.
Fuel scooping.
Ah, well, if that's what he does, then I can totally understand why it doesn't get made. But why is he making games if he can't produce one? If I was like, if his last game failed, and this one's failing, what? I don't know. He's not a broken genius or anything. He obviously knows. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's just taking people for a ride, I'm guessing.
Fuel scooping.
They can't, because one of the things about Grand Theft Auto is I've been reading more up on it recently because I was kind of really disappointed that that there was never any DLC for it, and it actually turns out it's all been kind of kept on the quiet, but the information is out there. There was a whole host of DLC made, single player DLC made for the game, but after realizing they could make money from the online element, they totally, because I think I've said this before, I think that maybe Rockstar only have control of the actual first development part of the game, or the game overall, and any subsequent stuff can be kind of directed by Take-Two or whatever. And I think they were making so much money from that, it seems like a lot. There should have been more single player stuff, DLC, but they all got reworked into the online part. And the actors had to go back in and do extra takes because they'd previously been kind of speaking to other characters, but now they were speaking to this kind of mute online character. So that's really disappointing from my point of view that they did that. Really disappointing. But GTA, the races in GTA in 5 can be pretty fun. They really can. They can be incredibly frustrating, some of them as well, but well, they can be good.
Frameshift drive charging.
That's the thing, Kathina. Once you've got a main direction, you can't really deviate hugely from it. Wow. See, that's incompetence. That's incompetence right there off the bat. Total incompetence. Oh, damn it. It's a high metal content. I'll get out there and scan it though. It's not the integration part actually that I find so shocking. It's that they actually produced it and then found that it didn't work. That's what bothers me. Got a nice screen flash going on at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that on stream. Sorry about that. I will try and fix it in a second. It's probably a window I've got open or something. No, still doing it. Okay, gonna have to close that.
Frameshift drive charging.
But I'm telling you, I've said it before. Look, when the FBI did their whole inquest onto the Silk Road, if you know what that is, there were people who were offering services as hitmen for as little as $4,000. So you got somebody who's donated 27 grand and hasn't got what they want. You need to watch your back.
Frameshift drive charging.
I mean, the whole FPS part of it's a bit... That could have been left to last, in my opinion. They should have worked on the main elements, so like an elite type game at the beginning, and then they could have expanded on all that stuff. Yeah, maybe it is. No, but I mean, you could literally, if you wanted to compartmentalize the game, you could charge X amount for the base space game, then you charge another amount for the FPS, then you charge another amount for the racing part. You know, you just do that. You're still gonna have plenty of Muppets, so you want to like kind of. No, not even Muppets, I don't think it's the nicest word, because I think that some people, they might want to live their life in that game, and you could make endless amounts of add-ons. Mind you, some people have knocked me when I said I'd paid more for this game. And it's not because I'm a sucker, it's just I think I've had my money's worth now. I wouldn't mind paying more if I honestly felt it would help the development. Well, if that's his thoughts, Kathleen, the only problem with that thinking is that who the hell's going to have the money to buy it? If he honestly thinks that his skins are worth 27 grand, if he honestly sits there and thinks they're worth 27 grand, he's going to have a very small playing community. I'd love to actually see the numbers on that. I'd love to see if anybody actually is paying that money. For 27 grand, I'd want to be considered an investor. I'd want shares. And yeah, I was reading in the news today. He's free to play dumb games for the little ones. What they call Pugba or something, and Fortnite. They're locked in some legal battle now with each other. Well, I am, Zoomski, because I've paid nothing towards it. But yeah, no, this is the thing. This is what I don't get. I think any human, no matter how much of a fanboy you are, I don't think you pay for nothing. And if he generally has found, The thing is, you know what he's done? In essence, he's found the one community that truly wants its game, which is the space community, because Elite definitely itches that scratch, but it's not as full as it could be. And you know, space games have kind of been the uncool genre. They're gonna be the big genre now. Everybody's gonna start jumping on it soon. That's what all my friends in the games industry keep on saying. Hey Joe, how's it going? So in the next couple of years, people are gonna have a shed ton of games to choose from. I know but he'll be needing more money now because he'll be building a battle royale mode, won't he?
Frameshift drive charging.
Ooh. But it's just that every time I think every time I think of that money that they've got, I just think if only Frontier had that money, or even just anybody half capable. Yeah, it is Umsky, which is why I think I'm quite hard on it at times. It's not that I actually want to piss on it or anything, it's just that I think more can be done in this game. I really do, but as I've said, I've come to the realization that I'm absolutely sure it's the graphics engine or the game engine that can't handle it, which is why it's not as immense as it could be. But maybe they're able to make improvements here and there, who knows? Ooh, is that a ringed Earth like? No, it's a ringed water world, but you can live in hope, can't you? Oh, I'd love that to be a ringed Earth like. I'm gonna be honest, Zoomski. I hope that after this, I hope at some point they're gonna realize that they need a new game engine and they're gonna start working on it. And I would hope that comes after this year. I know they've said, oh, we have a longer plan for it, but I don't know. I don't know if they can keep the player base that long. That's the big problem. I mean, nobody minds grind, and regardless of which way you do it, whether it be through combat or whatever, but I think the update, my personal opinion is the updates for this game come really, really slow. And most gamers have not got that patience. And like I said, if somebody like Bethesda jumps on it, or somebody else jumps on it, you could have a real contender. Just one of those big companies jumps on it and you could have a big contender. Let's see. Oh, it's not terraformable, you bastard. Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'm hoping that they're working on something big. And to be honest with you, even if you say you have a 10-year plan, does that necessarily mean it has to be under the same guise? You know, we could have like is it MLB The Show does? MLB The Show is a baseball game. They actually let you carry your characters over each year, so you don't have to start from the beginning if you don't want, which I really like. I always play it from the beginning regardless, but I know a lot of people who don't because they put so much time and effort into it. It'll be
Shift drive charging.
I mean, I guess you could work on a new game engine and still give it out for free. I don't know exactly how you do that, but I suppose it's possible in a way. We're not hitting much here. I was saying to Dave at the beginning of the stream, just because of the way a lot of things have rolled out and not worked, I'm really like kind of meh when they come to updates and new things. I got really excited at the last one, and then when wing trade missions weren't working, I was just like, oh, come on. This isn't that difficult to work out. It shouldn't be. And that kind of made me think, oh, well, just don't pull out too much hope. I know I always cite it, but the Division's like one of the things where I always look at it and think, bloody hell, you know, I've never actually actively moaned about the game, but there were people who absolutely hated it, and the developers listened to people and just dug deep, and then they've now created almost a flawless product, which is fantastic for the player base. Even better for people who are just coming to it, because they get it on special offer and they get to play the game that everybody else had wanted from launch. Don't know why I'm flying out to this one. It's not terraformable. Took a punt. Took a punt and kicked it over the wall, I think. So for anybody who didn't catch it earlier on in the stream, tonight was supposed to be the first night of Ineffectual Retro, but I just couldn't quite choose something and get all the kind of splash screens and everything and thumbnails made up, so I thought, I'll wait till another night, probably Thursday, or yeah, Thursday night's probably the night. Damn it. Oh, you mother lover, that's not even over either. Okay, so if that's time out content. Not that one, you idiot. Have I even done this right? Okay, yeah. These two probably are probably terraformable. But can anybody tell me what we're actually expecting in quarter? Hang on, what quarter are we in now? We're in quarter 2, aren't we? But hang on, all we've got is I can't even remember what the roadmap was. Let me have a look. Elite Beyond roadmap. Okay, so we had 2.4. Okay, quarter 1 release, content update. Okay, yeah. So, so that's quarter 1. Have we had any updates yet, apart from the quarter 1 update? What was quarter 2? And what's quarter 3 supposed to be? Just trying to have a quick look on this thing, but I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing it. Okay, so Crime and Punishment was the... Crime and Punishment and Engineering was the first one, wasn't it? Trade data changes, but I'm not sure what that was. Technology broker, was that the number 2? That was number 2, wasn't it, I think? So hang on, let me, instead of talking to myself, I'll actually read the... Okay, but when does Q2 come out then? See... Yeah, see, that's what I thought, Dave. I thought Q2 was meant to be the squad of mining stuff. And then, if I remember rightly, I think quarter 4 was supposed to be the exploration, the big exploration update. Oh, I didn't realise they'd put them back, Zoomski. I just thought they'd put the notes back. See, look, Zoomski, they're not going to get this done in time. If that, I didn't realise they'd put it back. If they've put it back, it's not going to get done in time, and that means Q4 is not going to get done in time, which is a real shame. Alright, if it's only a month delay, maybe not, but what have we got? Because quarter 2, January, March, April, May, June. So you're going to then put it 2 months back into quarter... Oh, it's 3 months. Yeah, of course it is. That's 4 3 to 12. Totally. I understand where you're coming from, Dave. I'm actually normally quite good at mathematics. It's getting a bit late at night. I just didn't think we'd had that much this year. But it started in February, didn't it? At least I thought it started in February. Oh yeah, Q4 doesn't necessarily have to be this year, does it? Oh, I'm getting in a bit of a tiz because they work on the fiscal year, don't they? Okay, it might not be so bad then. It might not be so bad. I forgot they work on the fiscal year. What's the crate? I'm totally out of the loop on that one. And when you say advance the story, does that mean the war with the Thargoids? That's going to be a really weird time as well. Just months on end of being at war with the Thargoids. I know a war takes time. I know it's not something that's over fast, but an in-game thing going on, I don't know how they're going to do it. I really don't. It'll be interesting. I'd love it if we all have to go to Colonia for a while things settle down. That'd be cool. I say I'm a bit like Bob. I'm just like, whatever they do, they do. We'll see it when it comes out. You can't be disappointed that way. And I'm kind of just so I'm kind of I'm a little bit kind of bored of these what do you call it? This kind of hype up through podcasts or videocasts, whatever you want to call them. Week upon week of talking about things nobody really knows anything about, only to be told it gets put back. And for people who didn't know, Red Dead Redemption was supposed to be out by now. Got put back twice. Got put back from October last year, I think it was, to April this year, and then from April to October again. And whereas, because it's a Rockstar game, I'm kind of like, well, I know it's going to be good, so I'll wait. But everybody knew it was going to get pushed back because Rockstar weren't saying anything, so I just don't get too involved in it. But if they're putting stuff back already, Zoomski, we'll have to see. But it won't be the end of the year, will it? It won't be December. It'll be going into February, March, April. Next year will actually be Q4, won't it? Oh, the crate's a new ship, okay. Oh, the crate, yeah, okay. Do we need a new ship? We need new ships, plural. In one ship? Chris Roberts would have banged that out in a week. And it'd have had a 50 quid price tag on it. Do you know what else I think they need as well, actually, Zoomski? This is... Kathina was on laughing about the mining earlier. Deep space mining with some extra periodic things on the periodic table. So some extra elements on the periodic table, which only appear maybe in certain parts of the galaxy. And you take out like a deep mining vessel out there, huge ship, like a Type 10 or something. Spend maybe a few days in game getting out there and getting back. But your haul will be worth a fortune when you get back. I'd really like something like that. You can even have like group things where you could all be going around in your SRVs or whatever, or going around and chipping stuff off rocks, and just have one ship collecting or something. You could do it in your fleet carrier, actually. Well, you're right there, Bob. Cheers, Zooms. I actually found a broken down version of it because I was a little bit they've kind of changed the way they're talking about it now from how they originally talked about it, that I remember. And I wonder why it says Frontier is dropping support for Elite Dangerous on Mac. So I wonder why that is. Bit of a strange one. I think deep down, Dave, there's a ton of stuff you could do with the mining. An absolute ton of stuff. To make it a genuinely interestingly viable career option, if you will. I wouldn't mind taking my mining ship out into the black and looking for a specific thing, chipping away at it and then bringing it back. If it had huge value, I think it would be really, really good fun. For me. Might not be fun for somebody else. See how we're getting on here. We're not getting on brilliantly. We haven't moved a whole lot. We kind of have, but oh, we've moved. No, we've moved a little bit. Let's see what our jumps are at the moment. I wasn't really thinking about what our jumps are. I might have to do some more daytime jumping while I'm at it. Oh, we're getting 55 jumps at the moment, which isn't bad. Okay, it's terraformable, that's good. It's probably going to end up being high metal content even though it's masquerading. Alright.
Frameshift drive charging.
People keep saying that, Decker, but I don't think the dinosaur game is infringing on this game. I've said that before. But maybe it is. I mean, if there's now delays, but it's not like anything ever worked on time anyway, so maybe they just want to delay it to get it right this time. Oh, I thought we'd have got lights there. Might do. Oh, we've finally come across a really good system here, but it's one of those ones where there's a ton of stuff in system, in your top one, and then there's a load of other stuff miles away. Probably none of it is terraformable. Oh, they are making a codex, aren't they? That's interesting as well. They really need to they really need a codex for this game. I'm surprised it's bloody taken so long. Come on, you mother lover. Alright, Bob97, thanks for joining in. It's going to take me a while to get back to the bubble, but we'll get there. One day. Soon. Hopefully. For some reason I have a hankering to watch Red Dwarf tonight before I go to sleep. I wish they'd put that ship in this game. I'm a bit of old squidgeroo on these because I don't know if I don't think this is worth flying down there. I really don't. Unfortunately, oh, it's not even terraformable. Okay, saving grace, an earth type. Saving grace. If anybody else has kind of silently tuned in on any of my other streams recently, and you either enjoyed them or you didn't enjoy them, I would really, I'd really like to hear from you either through Discord, or you can send me a private message through Discord. Just let me know what you thought about those other streams, what you thought about the choice of games, and when I do... Oh, Dave, that's too easy. No way. Plus, I haven't got an AMFAU in here, so no, I can't. I may start using it in the future to get to certain points. So any feedback would be well received. And don't be scared to be negative or anything in it. That's absolutely fine by me. If you don't like something, you didn't like something, it's because Elite might not last forever, but I want the channel to continue, so I have to kind of sometimes think of other little bits and bobs to do. And it was never my intention to just do Elite either. Oh, we know it's an Earth type. It's there we go. Oh, 4.6%, 0.6. Oh, that's atmosphere. What was the composition? Only 32% metal, unfortunately. Okay, we'll go have a scan face of this one. Yeah, hopefully. Hey Optech, how's it going? I think you're gonna need a shed ton of jumponium for those things, though. Shed ton. Should be able to buy it, though. I'd like to think you can buy it. You can trade it, so can't see why you can't buy it. I'd like to think that the traders are secretly stocking up for something. I don't think they'll be locked out, Dave. I honestly don't. I don't think that would be in anybody's interest. What is interesting is if you're gonna, for example, you're going to need, I don't know, to make a jump, maybe you need 150 polonium, for example. So you're actually gonna, you and your wingmates or whatever, are actually gonna have to go out and grind that 150 polonium before you can jump. I would suspect something like that'll be in the works, which wouldn't be a terrible thing. You're going to be making a massive jump. It'll definitely make, I think it'll make exploration much better. Means that we might be having to travel great distances to fight the Thargoids as well. It's my own take on it anyway. Squadron ship? Why would you need it to jump a long distance? The whole power play being open only, I'm not sure what the reason. I know that's to stop, well, I don't know, but I suspect it's to stop ganking and stuff like that, but I don't know if it is. I don't take part in power play at all. Seems a bit weird that they would only have it open, but then again, maybe it's because it doesn't move fast enough, or it doesn't move the right way. And maybe power play should actually be more in open, because then it makes the universe a bit more inhabited. Hey Ellidscar, that brought you out, did it? I hear 97 ineffectual 97th ineffectual squadron.
Crankshaft drive charging.
Did anybody read that news today that apparently Roseanne Barr is a racist? That can't be true. Can't be true, is it?
Fuel scooping complete. Warning, temperature critical.
No, it was Ellidsgar's idea. It's the 97th ineffectual squadron. Sounds very official. Oh, we've got a big blue down here. 7,000 light seconds away though. I can't not scan it though because it's a big blue. I love the big blue ones. I know what happened though, Eledzgar. This is the thing because well, I read that she'd sent that she'd sent what was considered a racist tweet. But the thing is number one, she's a comedian, and they're a weird troop in the way that they think. I'm not defending her in this way. I'm trying to get into how she would have been kind of caught, as you might put. Because, for example, I think I've said before, one of my favourite comedians is a black comedian called Paul Mooney, and he's quite racist against white people in a lot of stuff that he comes out with. Or it could be misconstrued as racism, I guess, because I know he's not actually racist, because he has a lot of friends who are white. But as far as I can remember when I was a kid, and even in the new show, it's all quite diverse. So I don't know if she's just had one of those comedian moments where she doesn't realise that the aristocrats is done behind closed doors, you know? Well, I think Athena wants her special race of people who bow down to her, but I haven't thought about deep space bases yet. I mean, I didn't read anything about it. Was it a genuinely racist tweet? And did she has she kind of successfully defended herself, or just dug herself a hole? Okie doke. It was terraformable, so it was worth it. Maybe not worth it, but it was worth it. If you get what I mean. I should really read more than ask questions all the time, because I only read headlines half the time. Welcome in, by the way, ASMR. I can't get any words out tonight. Trying to find something on it, but I'm not really doing a very good job, so I might as well. I mean, well, the thing is, Eletska, I'm a really, really big comedy fan, and I know how comedians think. Look, one of those cloudy ammonia worlds. Managed to spot that one off the bat, and I know how comedians think, and they can, they can think. I say we actually because I used to want to be a comedian when I was a kid. They think in just differently, and some of the thoughts that come to their mind are pretty bad. But I don't know if racism comes into it, if you get what I mean. But yeah, you're right in what you're saying. Essentially, a lot of social justice. After I read John Ronson's book, "You Are Being Publicly Shamed," I like don't trust a lot of stuff that I see when people are posting something saying, "Oh, this person said this, that person said this." I'm like, okay, I have to try and fact check this, or at least get other people's take on it. 'Cause, what was I thinking of? There's actually today, one of the footballers in England has a tattoo of a gun on his leg, and of course all these gun people came out, or anti-gun people. A lot of mothers in London who'd lost their children to gun violence came out and were saying, you know, he should be thrown out of his team, he should have his contract rescinded, he's a disgusting person. It actually turns out the reason he's got a tattoo of a gun on his leg is because his father was shot when he was 2 years old, and it's a reminder to him that his right foot is his gun because he scores goals with it, and it's a reminder to himself that he could have gone down a different path with his life. But nobody thought about that. Everybody just saw the tattoo and made an immediate decision and started trying to kind of attack him with it. And it's really weird how this goes on so quickly these days. I'd hate to get caught up in it. You know, you say one thing out of term, and I think comedians, it's really hard because comedians really half the time don't know when to shut up. I wonder if that's why we don't see Frankie Boyle on TV anymore. Right. Was she right or was she wrong? I mean, what I mean by that is, was her intent in the tweet to be racist? Did she say she looked like? Did she say she looked like a monkey, or that she looked like the offspring of one? Because I think there's a big difference there. I remember when that Seinfeld guy, I've forgotten his name now. He went crazy at a show, and it turned out that it was all just like a bit. But the audience just didn't take to it very well. That's why I was saying earlier, I really like Paul Moody, because sometimes when he's doing a skit, you know, there'll be white people in the audience get up and walk out, and it's like, it's comedy, man. If it's funny. Well, having said that, there is vulgar racist comedy out there, which is a bit of a different kettle of fish, but... Yeah. Right, let's see what we got. Not so good. Should we get off that subject? Nobody's interested in that subject, I don't think. Just me and Eladgar. I'm with. Ooh, we found a good one. At least it's gonna be, well, it's definitely gonna be terraformable. The thing is, the reason that I was so taken aback by it is that in the new series, the son is in an interracial relationship with his wife, who's at war, and the daughter hasn't been cast half cast. She's a fully African American young girl. One of the other daughters has a transsexual. Yes, I think that's the correct word to use. Transsexual son. It's dealing with drug addiction and stuff like this. I mean, I've genuinely thought that even over the years, like back in the 80s, Sandra Bernhardt was in it, who's openly gay. There was another actor in it who was openly gay. There was a couple of there was, well, not a couple, I think there's quite a lot of African American peoples in the original series as well. To me, I can't imagine that she's a racist person. Plus she's friends with like loads of comedians. Very unusual for her. It's kind of like the last. I think the reason it shocked me is because it was like the last person you would expect. I mean, I'll be honest. If somebody came out and said Tim Allen, I'd be like, all right, I'll buy that. I don't want to shit on the guy because I like him, but I'd buy it if someone was selling it. But I keep on looking at that and think I'm in the vodka region. I'm not, unfortunately. I'm in the vodka. It's not as strong. It's only 12%. And so look, hopefully we've got some. So anyway, what do we'll get away from that. What do people think about what do people think about the mining and whatever else it was getting set back? Is anybody severely upset by that? Anybody who's had to put the canaries back in the cage and the hat back in the wardrobe?
Shift drive charging.
Strange. I wouldn't expect it to be either. It's the last person I'd think about. Yeah, I think that's everybody's take on it, Joe. Everybody's like, it got put back. What was it arriving? I think I need glasses, the way I'm squinting. Oh, it is a water world. Okay. And it's at a good distance for this sun. Might just get some out of this. I think the plan, Joe, was to have a kind of other modules to help you spot what you were mining for. What I'm thinking, and it is only a thought, is there will be a rock scanner. So instead of sending out a prospector limpet, you would scan a rock first. And maybe there'll be boring points or something like that. Maybe the rock will break up, who knows? Oh, we'll move on. If at that distance it's not terraformable, I'm probably not going to hit any good ones. Yeah, I mean, you know, funny you should say that, because like you got Obsidian Ant and all them who got together the other day and had a big chat about it. And my opinion is, should they just stop nerfing stuff? Should they just realise it's something that they might never get over, and they should just give up on it and let people make money if they want to make loads of money? It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. That could be an ammonia. Oh, it's not, damn it. I was hoping it was. That is an ammonia right there. It's a slightly shaded one, but it's there. I'll just, when I get it in line, I'll make sure it's not been logged already. I've had a lot more ammonia worlds on this trip than I have Earth types, which is really strange. Yeah, it's unlogged. Hey Darren, how's it going? But what do you mean? What do you mean, Opdeck? Because the definition of racism is to believe that one. How can I put it? It's a prejudice or discrimination, or even I'm directed against someone who is of a different race. Okay, so and it would all be based on the belief that your race is superior. That would be the ultimate definition of racism. And what Roseanne Barr said, if what Elledsgar wrote, that to me, and especially coming from a comedian, you know, if you think comedians are all, even Dave Letterman, let's see, let's go for some lower down ones so we're not so on the edge. So like David Letterman, Jon Stewart. Bill Maher, who's the other one? Conan O'Brien. If you were ever in a back room with them and you heard them tell the aristocrats joke, or the aristocrats if you're an American, you'd have a completely different look on all of them. The way comedians talk about things is often, it's without not really thinking about things like racism and whatnot. Is because they know they're not. And I'm not saying that they should necessarily be protected, but I definitely think that you know, go look up Frankie Boyle. The English comedian. I mean, some of the stuff he came out with, and he was on normal, your average, everyday television programs. Like I've said, Paul Mooney, one of my favourite stand-up comedians, says a lot of things that I know white people would consider extremely racist, but under a comedic situation, it's funny, and I don't take it personally because I don't care, and I know that in reality he's not. Sorry, Joe. Did I say English? I meant to actually say British. Sorry about that. We're not trying to steal him. Don't worry. I meant to say British, sorry. Yeah, the name kind of gives it away, doesn't it? But not if it's the way Elledsgar. I mean, I don't know if Elledsgar wrote. I should just look up the quote. Let me look up the quote, because otherwise I'm having a conversation that I probably shouldn't be. Okay. Well, how busy. To be fair, Joe, you do have a tiny bit of a point, because he was really funny when he first came out, but then when he just tried to offend all the time, it kind of, he lost the little bit of magic. I liked him originally, though. Right, let's see that one. But this is the thing, Uptech. This is the thing, right? You have people who see race. You have people who see race and see racism, and you have people who don't. And you have people who kind of look at things in a completely different light. I can't block you on this. I'm sorry, Joe. And yes, obviously there are racist people out there, but I think you've got to be very careful about who you tar with a brush. You have to be very careful about who you tar with a brush, because you get into you can get into territory where somebody gets tarred as something, and if it turns out in the wash that actually they're not, then it doesn't help your cause in the long run. I'll go back to I'll go back to Justin Sacco for her tweet. I mean, her tweet was intended for her friends, not for the whole world to read, and her joke was actually an indictment on about how white people are perceived racist. That was her intent with it. She wasn't a racist person, but she got absolutely destroyed by social media, and as I think she's still in hiding to this day. I'll tell you what, if you were ever if you were in university when I was in university, and you heard some of the things that my black friends would say to me and I would say back to them in a joke form, taken out of context, somebody could assume that they were racist and I was racist. I mean, it's where is there a line in that sense? You know, like I've said, when somebody says something to intentionally, how can I put it, to intentionally put in a divide, like I heard somebody, a woman from, well, I can't remember which university it was. It was in the US, but an African American woman in a university in the US who was supposed to be like a diversity teacher or something, and she'd written something in an email saying that that African American people are more intelligent because they have more melanin in their skin, which that's a racist comment when you read that, because that's assuming that one person has a quality which makes them better than everybody else. But I suppose it's where different people's lines are. It's not something I particularly want to get in an argument about, because I'm like, I don't care what colour you are, where you come from, what you do. It really doesn't bother me. And if I saw something in my everyday life where I think, okay, that person's out of order, then I would act on it. But I also see a lot of strange stuff in the news these days where I don't necessarily agree with it, and people getting attacked quite a lot. And as I say, it comes purely from the fact that I wouldn't expect her to be. That's not to say she isn't. I don't know the woman personally. Anyway, she's from Salt Lake City. How racist can she be? Ooh. I don't know, Elliot's did it? Hang on, let me try and check. Oh, don't know, Elliot's. That's strange. You can try it again. Well, I mean, essentially, Optic, it's a problem everywhere. But this is where I was saying you have earlier saying that when you're fighting something like that, you have to pick your fights, because if you pick the wrong people to go against, I'm not on about you, I'm on about as a society, you have to make sure that you're going after the correct people to be going after. If you go after the wrong person and it's found out later that you're wrong, then the whole movement as such gets set back, and it gets set back a lot because you're not you, but as a group, we are not making the correct decision about the people we go after. And what I'm seeing is that, as I mentioned with that footballer earlier in England, the way people went after him and attacked him, and it blew up on Twitter. And you know, this evening his manager, his team, the kind of like the, I don't know, the football version of the NFL have all had to come out and defend him, but he's got nothing to defend against anybody. And it, on paper, that photograph does look like, it looks like he's advocating guns, which is a big no-no in England because we don't have them. Alright, see you later, Deckard. We'll catch you on a better night, huh? No, you can you can feel free to have your say. Like, I'm not gonna knock you. I just play devil's advocate too much. I think that's my thing, is that I only want to know when I know the full facts of something. And it just, like I said, it really surprised me today that I'm thinking I would not have expected that from that person. Got an Earth Lake. Oh, it's 28,000 lights. Oh no, there is a water world next to it though. It's probably worth it. Oh no, I can't see my chat because my thing's not working. Oh, there we go. Right, we're gonna go check this one out because although it's a little bit across the way and it's not really, I don't really like going that far across the way, but I'm gonna check it out because it's next to another water world and it could be terraformable. Stop. Come here. Oh, cripes, I didn't realise it was that late. I'm actually, well, I'll give it a few more minutes. See if we can't find something interesting in this system. One question actually for anybody who's watching is that would anybody be interested in kind of an E3 stream? It's not really my type of thing, but I would do it if people wanted it. I love it. It's reminded me of something from what was it? South Park. He used one of those statements. I think you should rephrase that a bit, Alaska. I don't think if any of your girlfriends read that, I don't think they'd be happy where you said you've never been picky about sleeping partners. I'm sure you are picky. I get where you're coming from, but I'm sure you are. I'd rephrase that. Maybe these topics aren't for Elite Dangerous. I've said to people before, you coming into this stream, you've got to understand that my brain is constantly ticking and I read stuff. You know, I'm not doing something that's the most interesting part of the game. But I also like conversation and I like to converse about events and things. As I said before, I do play devil's advocate a lot because I think that that's something that's very much missing in this day and age when it comes to discussion and reporting. I don't have enough. No, but I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it? This is the thing, Elliot's like I said, I've listened to Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor, Dave Chappelle, Red Fox, all my life. Like, but I've also listened to George Carlin, Bill Hicks. Like, you know, I love my comedy, and so I am sometimes a bit protective over comedians because I know how they think and I know how they can go over the edge with Right, okay, where the bloody hell's that one gone? There we go. I don't know what tech. I'll have to have a look into it, mate. I'll have to see whether the statement she made. I was having a problem finding it when I was looking for it because there's certain websites I kind of want to stay clear of when I'm looking at. Right, is that one terraformable? Yes. Okay. Oh, but it's only high metal content. Hang on. Okay, we need to quickly jump on that one. That's terraformable, so that's a good system. That is a very good. I'm glad I stopped and got these extra ones. It's going to be a payday, that one. Right, okay, children, I am gonna have to call it a night. It's getting on, and I've put in my 3 hours for the day. Just gonna go to the galaxy map and have a quick look at where I am. I am going on a kind of diagonal route, so it doesn't look like we've moved a lot. We've come from around here, but we did come from pretty far down, so kind of making this diagonal route back up to the galactic plane as we go along. I'm currently aiming for here, but I think I'll actually shift it to here the next time I log in, because I reckon I can probably do that now. I think I'm going to have to also lengthen the choice of stars, because I don't think I'm doing my full jump when it's possible, which really, considering I'm returning to the bubble, I don't want to be losing, I don't know, I don't want to be losing like 5-10 light years per jump just to have a better chance of hitting a good system. But I don't know, it's quite hard. It's whether you make the decision to hit those systems here where they're more abundant, and then hit the hit more stars as you get closer to the bubble where the space isn't as abundant and you haven't got as much stuff to track down, you know, because I don't know, the closer you get to the bubble, the more difficult it is to track it down. Yeah, divide and conquer, that's the thing. That's what worries me, Alaska, and I don't want that. I would rather have people in the middle. In fact, let me have a look. If anything, yeah, I don't even know how to put it. You know, I always want people to be more in the center. You know, that's how I see it. It's better to rather than kind of taking too much of an emotional stance to one side. So I'll leave this video in the comments. It's a comedic video. It's not. It's nothing too serious. But take a look at that video. That'll make you giggle about all this politics and racism and everything. And I'll call it a night for tonight. I will be back tomorrow night. I'll be doing more Elite, trying to get back to the bubble. Maybe speed it up a little bit because it's been a little bit slow tonight. And then one night this week will be Ineffectual Retro, which will be a retro. I'll be doing a retro game or a retro system. If it's a retro system, it won't be one game because I don't think you can play them for like 4 hours or whatever without pulling your teeth out in this day and age. But I don't know, maybe I can give it a go. Or if it's a retro game, I'll actually try and play a few hours worth of that game and kind of have a look back and a nostalgic review of it, I think. Okay, so I want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget, if you want to, there's lots of information in the information box below. You can join our Discord, Monkey Tennis, where we have things like ship builds, interesting website links for Elite Dangerous. You can also find my links for Twitch TV. If you want to support the stream by giving donations or anything like that, or becoming a Patreon, all that information's in there as well. And really, last but not least, if you like the video, please like and subscribe. Okay, so have a good night, and I'll catch you later. 9-7.